Speaking of hot topics, because we always like to talk about modern topics.
Absolutely.
And you're a sci-fi person, so I would guess that you've seen some of these superhero movies that we've been flooded with.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge comic book fan.
So
I used to draw.
as a comic book fan and a movie fan, how do you feel about the casting of Robert Downey Jr. into the MCU again as Dr. Doom now?
All right, so I have mixed emotions about that. You know, for the movie going audience,
Yes.
To them that's probably weird.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because movies don't tend to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Not especially with somebody who we came to know and love as Iron Man.
Right.
Right. The comic books not so much, because in the comic book, because he's playing the variant of Doom.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah. And from what I hear, the Fantastic Four movie doesn't take place in
Same
the actual,
time period.
Right. In the actual Marvel universe. It's a variant of it. So in the comic books, Iron Man, Dr. Doom has been Iron Man. Iron Man
And vice versa,
and
yes.
vice versa.
Right.
So coming from the comic books, that's not that weird.
But what do you mean?
In the movie, or what do you mean?
Dr. Doom has been Iron Man and
Yeah,
Iron Man.
Dr. Doom has been Iron Man. He's
In the comics.
In the comics, he's been Iron Man.
He switched bodies with Tony Stark one time.
Yes.
Oh.
And so they lived their own. At least in the one comic
Some
I
Freaky
saw.
Friday shit.
Yeah, he in that one comic I read that instead of Reed Richards being his roommate, Tony Stark was, and so then he realized how smart Tony was and how blessed he was to come from where he was. So he invented a machine, tricks Tony into like volunteering for the machine, traps him, switches bodies, and Tony wakes up and gets deported to Latveria and has to live where Doom is from.
Right.
And Doom takes Tony's body and money and influence, creates his own Iron Man suit. Meanwhile, Tony lives in Latveria, starts improving their economy, and creates a Dr. Doom suit for himself.
Right.
And then they end up having a fight.
Right. So for those of us who are comic book fans,
Never knew that.
it's not.
I just learned
and
it.
that's
Yeah,
where it's
that's dope.
coming from. And a lot of people
Johnny Goat.
that are claiming to be comic fans don't know the comics. Don't really know the comics. They may have picked up an issue or two.
Right.
And like I said, for movies, this is something different. But you know, I mean, people are always saying that Marvel is following the same path and they should switch shit up. You can't switch it up any more than this. It's like this is different. And you know he's gonna play the hell out of it.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, we heard the same shit when we heard Heath Ledger was going to be the Joker. Everybody was like, oh, what the fuck?
But there was no precedent for Heath Ledger's characters in that role. So
Right.
I think what was interesting about that was Heath Ledger was used to playing this pretty boy type
Right.
look.
I mean, before the Joker, he was the gay cowboy in Brokeback Mountain.
Right.
Oh, shit. For real?
Yes.
Yes.
So that people were all up in arms about Heath Ledger playing the Joker.
Yeah.
They was like, oh,
Compared
he's
to
gonna-
Jack Nicholson's
Right.
Joker, which is
Right.
hard to measure up against.
And they thought he was going to fuck it up because
Yeah.
He's going to
they
do something.
couldn't
killed it.
envision the gay cowboy
Yeah,
as the Joker.
Right.
And the Joker is kind of like freaky and weird himself.
Right. And
Right.
when they saw
And now
that,
he's the best.
perfect.
when they first
version.
saw that first image of
Yeah.
him and it said why it's so
Sheesh,
serious,
no
Yeah, yeah.
the internet went crazy.
Yes.
And then they started leaking little,
still obsessed with
little
it.
clips of him, and Heath Ledger killed it. They said the same thing when Ben Affleck was going to play Batman. They were
Right.
like, "Oh, he fucked up Daredevil. Why are you going to give him Batman?" But in all honesty, the fight scene in Batman versus Superman when he was fighting the henchman.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's probably Batman's best fight scene ever. That's how Batman. When you picture Batman kicking
Yes.
ass, that's how you picture him kicking ass.
Yeah, it's at the limit of what is humanly possible,
Right.
And it's a little exaggerated,
Right.
But because it's shot that way, it was shot very
right.
well.
It was shot very well, and
Yeah.
then people accepted him.
Right.
So right now everybody's up in arms,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, I think there's a contingent of people online that get, they're doing their little YouTube videos and they're doing their little TikToks,
Yeah.
and they get more followers by saying something negative.
Controversy, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You want to have the
This is gonna
action
Marvel's new
comments.
movie is gonna suck
Because
so
of the
now
movie,
now
yeah.
they get a bunch of people.
Yeah.
It's easier to be negative, and you get more followers being negative than actually waiting to see if you really like it. So I
Are you looking forward to it?
want to see it. I'm curious about it.
I have a strange perspective on this one because I love Robert Downey Jr. as an actor. We all fell in love with his role as Iron Man.
Yes.
I love Iron Man.
I think great stories have great endings.
Yes.
And if you do not allow a story to end, it will eventually fall apart. That's how I feel. And so I think that obviously they offered him an amount of money that he couldn't refuse.
And he actually wanted to get back into the MCU.
I think so. I think he had that little desire
nothing
to
has worked from him,
right,
in movie wise since then. Dr.
Doolittle and all this other stuff.
You know, he hasn't had the success he's had since he left there. So I'm sure he wants a piece of that back too.
I think, but here's my thing. I think it would have been more compelling. I think they did it for marketing. I think it would have been more compelling if they didn't reveal who Doom was. And you don't see who Doom is, and then you get into the movie, and it's this mystery of who's Doom, and then they reveal it in the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
They would have gotten so much as soon as it released in theaters. Maybe that might not have had the biggest opening day, but people would have blown it up that weekend, been like, "Wait, Robert Downey Jr. in the movie!" Oh, and their heads would have exploded.
But you know how it is.
But now they're going to use him to market it,
Right.
And they're going to lean too heavily on his face because Doom uses the mask like 99% of the time.
Right.
Some versions he has like scarring, sometimes he doesn't. But it's like he should be in the mask.
Right.
And now it's like we're all gonna know who Doom is. So it's not a mystery. It's like, all right, they're gonna make Robert Downey Jr. be everywhere, do a huge press tour and blah, 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 blah. And rinse, recycle, repeat. That's what I'm afraid of.
But you know, right now the time is a little different. And it's like it is with music. You know, in music, if you don't sell these huge numbers in the first week, they consider you a failure. So people think you failed, they won't try your music.
That's true.
So now that people know that he is going to be Doom,
I think it's going to be amazing.
Right. And you'll go to watch it to hate it, or you'll go to watch it to love it.
Right.
So those
and
first
I'll wait for it
week
to come out on
numbers,
Disney Plus.
Marketing strategy.
those first week numbers are going to be,
it's 100% marketing.
are going to be huge for them.
Yeah.
And that's what they want, so that it looks like a success. Because if they can say, oh, you know, the movie made 80 million in its first week.
In his first day.
Right, in his first day, then more people are going to go out to the movie to see it. If they say, oh, they only made 20 million, then people are going to write it off and say,
and I think that's what they're afraid of.
Yeah.